Poundland's finest G4 LED bulbs, a pack of 3 for £3, which isn't too bad. And I've never really found a use for these yet until recently, when some lights turned up in the job that had the little tungsten lamps, a transformer, the telescopic support, and it was a little desk lamp, and they took a 12-volt lamp. I hope they're still about, because now I bought these, I can fix those lights because the bulbs had gone them, and we were struggling to get replacement halogen ones. Anyway, I will zoom up a bit because I've already prized one of these open. Oh, that's like mega zooming. That's fine though. Maybe I'll just come up closer towards the camera and be less zoomy. That's probably a good idea. I should just focus onto here. So I've popped one of these open, and the way it opens is the plastic housing. Oh, it's actually got the power rating on it. Hold on. Let me just check what that is. Oh, and also 12 volt, 1.3 watt, 12 volt, 1.3 watt, and 3000K color temperature, which is a warm white. Oh, before I do this, I should show it lit, shouldn't I? Because you guys will get miffed if I don't show it illuminated. So to improvise, I shall just get a random one that is intact and just get this 12 volt power supply and just shove it in, and there it is lit. Now you have seen it lit, we can take it apart. So if I focus back to a sensible level and twist this, because I have partied this one. Oh, it's kind of gone back together again. Ugh, that went well. I don't know if it's glued together, but there is a little pin in the middle. And there's also a little sort of chimney, a little vent hole, I guess, for ventilation, or is it just to give the... It must be for ventilation, but it's also to emulate the pip of the original bulbs. And inside is a little circuit board like this. I'll bring this up closer. Let's see if we can actually focus on this. And zoom. And we can see, now I'll get a pointy probe here to point. We can see we've got 2 diodes this side and a smoothing capacitor. And 2 diodes this side, and there's a little tiny capacitor sticking through. Another diode, a chip, a current sense resistor, 0.5 ohm, and an inductor the other side. So I'll take a close-up picture of this and trace this out, and we'll see if it's a fairly standard circuit. So I'll do that right now. One moment, please. Okay, let's explore. The sound and the lighting might be slightly different. I'm trying to improve things a little bit. So here are both sides of the circuit board, so you can see how the components relate to each other. Interesting things. These 4 diodes are rather predictably a bridge rectifier input, so it could be fed with AC or DC. However, they're Schottky diodes, which means that they are suitable for high speed and they've got quite a low drop. That'll also keep the heat dissipation down this, although the power of it isn't that high. We have the smoothing capacitor, we've got the control chip, which is a little dedicated LED driver. We've got a sense resistor and we've got an inductor. And the LEDs, I was expecting them to be wired as 4 circuits of 3 with 6 on either side of the circuit board. But in reality, they're actually wired in pairs, which means this could theoretically work down to possibly 6 or 7 volts. That might be useful in some instances. Okay, let's take a look at the schematic. And here it is. So there is the bridge rectifier with the made of Schottky diodes. I'm guessing the reason for that is that this thing could be fed with 12 volts AC or DC, or it might be connected to one of those high frequency halogen transformers. Although having said that, the halogen transformers can be, instead of putting out a sort of fairly consistent 12 volts to the tungsten lamps, they put out a series of spikes, and they can be quite high voltage. So this is maybe just an optimistic value. I think it would be best operated on standard traditional 12 volt transformers or a 12 volt power supply, but it does accommodate quite a wide voltage range. Here's the dedicated LED control chip. It's got the positive, negative, the current sense for that resistor. It's got the switched output, which goes to the 0 volt rail, and basically I'll write that in 0 volt, and I'll just write plus volt up here because it could be a wide range. And it's also got a dim input, which can be used to pulse the unit on and off, but in this case it's just left floating because it's not in use. So here's the principle of operation. The unit switches the inductor down to the negative rail here, the 0 volts. And when that happens, current flows from the capacitor through this sense resistor through the LEDs and through the inductor. The inductor, because it's initially got no magnetic field, passes the current it pushes back against the current, it sort of limits it as it builds up its magnetic field. Once the current reaches the level of this sense resistor, it measures the voltage across it, the inductor will get turned off. The switched pin here will basically float, and at that point the magnetic field collapses, and this end had been negative, that had been positive. It reverses, and the current flows through this freewheel diode and back through the LEDs. So it basically uses the inductor to light the LEDs in both the magnetic charging and discharging of it by the chip. And that is fundamentally it. Now, when I was probing about, I was getting very, very weird effects. For instance, while probing an LED on one side, if I swapped the probes round, the LED on the other side would light. And initially I thought it was some fancy arrangement, but it just turns out to be a classic arrangement. It was just the way the components were interacting when I was probing the circuit board. But that might also have been because certainly on one side of it, you think you're just making into one connection here, but it was actually the two connections, and that may have been what was happening there. But it all works out that it's just a standard chip. So there we have it. I mean, it's a logical approach. It's a fairly standard little light, and it does work very well. So it could be useful, the fact that because they've used pairs of LEDs, the forward voltage of that will be about, say, 6 volts. So it wouldn't take much above that to make this light. So really, it's probably got quite a high voltage range. I'm not sure where the upper voltage range is. I think that will be capped to a degree by this capacitor here. But there we have it. It's interesting and a very typical buck converter for driving LEDs.